Morgan Reagan.
Hi.
What a win.
Oh,
No De'Aaron Fox.
Yes.
The Kings go on the road, lose a bonus in overtime, and get a 124-120 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. The second time they've won in Minnesota this year. Anthony Edwards did leave at halftime due to a personal reason, but the Kings got a tough, much-needed victory in Minnesota. Where do we start?
I mean, I feel like I think this is where we start. We could start in regulation or end of regulation, going into overtime, because I think that was a lot of the story of where this game went, right? So Malik Monk, 16.9 seconds left, Kings ball, and a lot of ISO ball going on, and I don't know what the sideline out of bounds play was supposed to be, but Malik Monk ended up taking a very deep three, right? Shot clock was winding down because it wasn't, there was less time there than the game clock. And we were all very confused. Well, the Kings D-up on the other end, it goes to overtime. And that's where Malik Monk, he took off.
Yeah, he had back-to-back threes, did miss 2 free throws in overtime.
Yes.
This guy had 39 points. He had 35 points in the second half of the game. He was fantastic. And in a situation where you're playing overtime with no Fox, obviously he's out.
Yep.
Sabonis got fouled out at the 3:58 mark. So you played pretty much the entire overtime session without Sabonis. You find a way to win. It was interesting because the Kings elect to go small instead of putting Alex Lennon when Sabonis fouled out.
Yeah.
They go small against the lineup that had Naz Reid, Cat, and Gobert. And I thought that they got some timely rebounds, some great contests at the rim, including one by Lyles and one by HB. It was just a big-time performance. You go down 118, 117 with Sabonis fouling out. I thought the game was over. The Kings found a way to escape. They got through the missed free throw situation, a ton of missed free throws again. It was just big-time shit from the Kings.
Well, it was just such a team effort, the way that they stayed locked in and engaged together. I think there was one moment in overtime where I felt like, oh no, they're looking a little tired. Are they deflated? What's going on? And it's like, then the next possession down or the next defensive possession down, they stayed locked in. Or even, I think it was after the missed free throws that the T-Wolves had that terrible pass to Naz Reid, slipped out of his hands, went out of bounds, and it was like, there was these moments where the T-Wolves were just shooting themselves in their foot, right? So it was great that the Kings started capitalizing on those moments.
It was interesting after the game, the players mentioned that they had a players-only meeting after that Denver game.
Yes.
To talk about being locked in, playing with physicality, and being ready for this stretch of games. It worked tonight. I thought they battled their asses off. A couple of things I was looking at before the game were things that they did the last time they were in Minnesota. That was win the rebounding battle, get second chance opportunities, push the pace. Those are all things they did well in Minnesota the first time around. Tonight, against a team that is second in the NBA in points in the paint, the fewest points in the paint allowed at 44 a game, the Kings scored 68 points in the paint.
Hell yeah.
They won the rebounding advantage. They had 20-second chance points. It was just a really, really good performance by a shorthanded team.
You look at the 68 points in the paint, Deuce, and you mentioned this the other night against Denver. You were like, look, why were they scoring so well in the beginning in that first quarter game against Denver? It was because they were playing defense, getting stops, and pushing the pace, pushing the ball, scoring, getting in the paint, in transition, whatever. I felt that tonight, and I felt that more consistently tonight, where they were playing better defense, getting deflections, whatever it was, and then scoring in the paint on the other side. And let's say it wasn't in transition. They were doing a great job of working their way in, whether it was just in the mid-range, whether it was just around the free throw line, or even getting that paint touch, getting a spray three. They found different ways to just stay aggressive and score on the offensive end, and didn't allow one of the best defensive teams in the NBA to slow them down or take them out of their game.
I also want to give a shout out to a couple of guys. Keon Ellis got the start tonight instead of Davion Mitchell. Keon came in right away, had a nice strip, hit another steal. He was aggressive defensively, get deflections. He had 4 steals tonight. He's been getting DNPs, and here he is starting against Minnesota and coming up with some plays. They didn't need him to go score 20 tonight. They needed him to orchestrate the offense, push the pace, and do some things defensively. He did that defensively tonight. And then Davion Mitchell, who started the last game, doesn't start tonight. He could have pouted. He could have...
Never.
No. He came out and he pushed the pace. It's always key, especially without Fox. That's where I was concerned. I'm like, you have to push the pace against a team that's got Gobert and Cat. Because yes, they could defend. That team could defend. But they want to defend in the half court. Kings were pushing off makes. Davion was getting out going. Sabonis was imploring both Ellis and Davion to push the pace. Davion then scored. He had 16 points. I think he missed one shot tonight. I thought those two guys were crucial, especially with De'Aaron Fox out.
And then before the game even, we were talking about Keegan Murray's last 4 games and what he's been producing. And I thought tonight he did another good job of still remaining aggressive. And then you saw Minnesota doing a much better job when he started going off. They started going, okay, we're going to deny the shit out of you and not allow you the basketball. And it made life a little harder. I thought there could have been a few more times late down the stretch that the Kings could have done a better job of getting Keegan Murray open, because he was doing everything he could to get open, but it didn't matter because Monk started taking over. The confidence was there. Again, just a team effort by so many of these guys.
I thought Keegan was really good tonight, and you're right. They started to do a great job. Like, they're blowing up the dribble handoffs. Jaden McDaniels was all over at him at times, but Keegan still had an impact defensively. I mean, his deflections, he had a couple of nice dunks today. I also love the fact that the Kings were aggressive, and it reminded me of Keegan putting the ball on the floor, attacking the basket, had a nice jam. I believe that was McDaniels as the defender he got by in the first half. But that was the thing. They were being the aggressor. They were trying to be physical first. They took punches tonight, and they were able to find a way to get the W. I love this win, and you hope now, because they're calling it a statement win. Malik Monk mentions the statement win. Davion agreed with them. Okay, you win a statement game, then you need to come back home on Monday against Chicago and take care of business.
And this is how you do it. You got to make sure you're doing the little things. And now they did a lot of the little things: engagement, hands in the passing lane, getting the deflections, the steals. Those are the things you need to do to win games. But the things to make sure to secure the win, you got to make your free throws, and you just got to make sure that you are playing at a different level defensively on your home floor. We mentioned this too. 26 in defensive rating on their home floor going into tonight's game, and 11th in defensive rating on the road. So can you play that same type of defense that you play on the road at home? I think they can, but again, it's just going to take a different type of mental shift.
We're going to be live tonight for Night Chat about 10:30 to go over all of the game tonight. Had to hop on here for some instant reaction about what went down between the Kings and the Minnesota T-Wolves. Kings back in action Monday against Chicago. Hopefully De'Aaron Fox can go. I'm glad he got some rest.
Yeah.
Right? Heal up.
Time, yes.
They go one-on-one without him. Whew. Let us know what you thought of the game in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe.